And call to order this regular city council meeting, February 6, 2024 at 6 p.m. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Leonard.
Present.
Councilman Martinez.
Present.
Councilman Werner.
Here.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Present.
Mayor O'Connor.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Excellent. Let's all please stand if you're able. Join me in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, I believe we skipped preliminary comments. Did you have any preliminary comments?
No, Mayor, I do
All
not.
right.
Thank you.
Do we have any additions, deletions, or modifications of the agenda? If none, may I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Excellent.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilman Werner. Roll call. Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Excellent. Public comments and requests. This section of the agenda allows for comments from the public to speak. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes to comment. A public comment card should be completed and returned to the city clerk. When you are called to speak, please go to the podium and prior to addressing the council, state your name and address for the record. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments?
Mayor, there's a public comment from Ms. Tara Dewey with Lewis, Longman and Walker.
Ms. Dewey, great to see you.
It's good to see you. Can you all hear me without me talking to the microphone, or do I need to talk in the microphone? Is it on? Yeah. Hello?
Speak loud.
Hello?
There you go.
Okay. Tara Dewey, Lewis, Longman and Walker on behalf of Minto Communities. I just wanted to briefly stand up tonight to introduce myself to the newest council member on behalf of Minto. And I understand that there was some information in the press regarding 60th Street North mentioning Minto and some discussions we had with Palm Beach County. So I thought I would take the opportunity to bring you all up to speed. Just for a little background for the new council member, 60th Street North along the northern boundary of the city of Westlake was property that we were to dedicate to Palm Beach County pursuant to our original development order that was approved by them in 2014. Several years ago, we entered into an agreement regarding that property and how we would convey it, and we are in the process of turning over those documents. During those discussions, there was some interest and some discussions with Palm Beach County about whether they would prefer for us to construct a portion of that roadway. So we are providing them with some additional information and in discussions because it's something that we're willing to consider doing. So we will update you as those discussions proceed, but that is the news that's fit to print. And we're excited as always to, create more connectivity for the city and good infrastructure for the county. So if there are any other questions about anything else, I'm happy to answer them, but that is all I wanted to update you on tonight.
Please.
Yes, thank you for the update. Does that mean then that the area that was dedicated for the future street is in the city?
Yes, 60th Street North, to the extent that it's dedicated, is within the city of Westlake.
Fully or partially?
That's a good question. I think it's fully. There is a portion of the 60th Street right-of-way that would be in some of the city of West Palm Beach's water easement, but not in the area that we would be constructing and dedicated because we, in fact, dedicated more land than we were required to in order for them to stay out of that easement area.
So just to follow up on that, in the news article that I read, it indicated that the developer was offering to build the road for 10 million, but the county experts, so to speak, are suggesting it's going to cost more like 30 or 40.
We have not had discussions about costs. In fact, that's some of the information that we're putting together right now. So in fact, I'm sure the county has estimates based on their standard procedure. Those costs are slightly different for the private community for a variety of reasons. So Minto is in fact, providing data on what it is costing us to do the work that we're doing already and kind of trying to see how much that would be worth.
And is that something that Minto is now going to do, or is that still subject to the county?
It's still subject to the county's approval and whether they want us to move forward in that way. We have an obligation to do pay money in prop share. And if they decide they would rather have it as an in-kind construction project, that's certainly something we've offered to do and work with them on.
And do you know if there's a timeline involved in when that would be done?
I believe they have put some aspects of 60th Street North in their 5-year capital improvement element. I don't believe, and I'm sorry, I don't have that with me, but I can certainly forward it to you because it's public information from Palm Beach County. I believe, I'm not sure any of that is construction of any particular link, but certainly the beginning phases of it. They're looking at that right now for the county's planning, and it could be sooner rather than later. I know it's a priority for them, and the discussions are a priority for them. So it's been a positive conversation.
And your Minto's dedication was done up to 140th Street,
Correct.
but yet there's still more to be built to get to SR7.
Correct.
And that wouldn't be done yet as part of that project.
Potentially, we don't know how far they would want us to go. Obviously, it's easier for Minto to work on property that they currently own, but if, there's a lot to say about mobilizing, so we don't know the scope yet or what we're interested in, how that's going to all move forward. And obviously, the county will have a lot of other issues to deal with Indian Trail that wouldn't involve us in dealing with right-of-way and what have you.
Okay, appreciate it. Very helpful.
And I'm glad to answer the questions, and thank you.
I would assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, especially if I'm speaking out of turn, but I assume the upside having Minto build it would actually get done timely and much more expediently than having the county build it.
Yes, for instance, Seminole Pratt Whitney, the infrastructure that you all drive on in the city, through the city, was completed by Minto fairly expeditiously as a private endeavor, and then turned over to Palm Beach County for their ultimate ownership and maintenance. And that is how a lot of projects are done in Palm Beach County and in other local jurisdictions.
I'm sorry. So at best, right now, it might be a 2-lane road if it was there today. But if Minto were to build it, would it meet county specs for an arterial? Or would it be like a phased development, 2 lanes and later on?
That would be yet to be determined at their direction on how they'd want to proceed.
Okay.
I think it would make sense in our area to do it at least the way that we've done it for Seminole Pratt, which is build it out so that you can just add the lane when it becomes necessary, as opposed to having to rip up and start over, which is always a better plan.
Right. Okay.
When Minto built Seminole Pratt, was it Minto's design or was it county's design and Minto paid for it?
We designed it with the county's approval because it has to go through their approval process for specs and make sure it meets all the requirements
Okay.
and for their ultimate ownership and maintenance. But we do the initial design work for their approval.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any more questions for Ms. Dewey? Thank you so much for the update.
You're
Truly
welcome.
appreciate it. Do we have more public comments, Madam Clerk?
I received no additional public comment cards. However, I do see a hand raised in the audience, if you'd like to recognize.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Sir, he's speaking.
Oh, okay.
So do you hear now? I have a very soft voice, sorry for that. So I live in the Hammocks. I'm one of the board members there. So we actually started a new committee just for the 60th Street issue. First of all, everybody's excited that a new road is coming in. I think it's very beneficial. But I also am visiting them houses on the north side of Meadows and Hammocks. And of course, when they bought the places, they knew one day a road would come. But it's not a nice site. Right now, they have a beautiful backyard, of course. And now the news said it could be like 5-lane road. So that's going to kill their property values there. That's many people feel. But of course, it can be done in a better way. So then those people can be protected, is what I feel. And all the people that I spoke in this group told me the similar thing too. So people would like some protection from the pollution of noise and the light. And how do you, I'm a mechanical engineer. So I did some development projects in my life. So I've seen how the berms are done, how the walls are done, how the acoustic is calculated, right? So we are hoping, and we are putting together a group to come and speak with our city, because I understand Minto can do the design, but the city needs to approve at the end of the day for them to be able to put that road in our city. People would like a protection for them. Now, right now, there's like a little berm like this, maybe 2 feet or something. I know what it is. I drove there, golf cart. I didn't take good measurements or anything, but it's not good enough. That's for sure. Berm costs good money, wall costs good money, but people paid good money for those houses. So I think they deserve the protection, and they are the people who vote for you. So I'm sure that they all expect our city to think for them. I don't live on that road, by the way, but I feel that somebody should start talking about this so other people, and there are many people are talking actually, because like I said, people are not against the road in no way, shape, or form, but they want some protection. They want to make sure their city protects them. So when they sit on their backyard that they spend $800,000 and put a pool there, so at the night they don't sit and watch the cars passing with honking, and they don't have any protection. They can't put the protection. You folks need to tell Minto to put that protection. That's why we are here. We're going to contact you further on this later on as this grows. And I would like to ask them if we can start seeing plans. Are there any plans for this? I don't know.
She's saying no.
Not yet?
Mhm.
Okay. So we would like our city, again, to please follow and protect our people. That's all I wanted to ask.
I certainly appreciate your comments.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Any comments back? No?
I think it's really early in on the conversation, considering the land's not even dedicated yet.
Yeah, there's a significant amount of property back there, and the plans have not been drawn, how that will be detailed. It's very, very beginning stages and nothing that's happening tomorrow or anytime soon. So you will be apprised and updated by us. We'll be very transparent. Again, this has to go through the county process to be approved. It's their design ultimately, but the landscaping and everything else is certainly something that'll be of concern to Minto, as it's their community and they want to keep the community that we have in the standard it is. So brand new, nothing to be concerned about, no plans not to do those things. It's just very early, and we will keep you apprised, the council apprised, as those discussions move forward, so the community members know where we are in the process and how that goes.
Thank you. Yeah, I certainly look forward to seeing those plans. Quick note, regardless of who actually ends up constructing, whether it is Minto or if it's the county, we still get to see plans and see berms and all of that.
We will be here talking about 60th Street until 60th Street is done.
Thank you so much.
Right.
And thank you.
Thank you for the response, and yeah, thank you for the question.
The city will need to approve it. Can this be confirmed? The design.
It's a county,
It's a county road, I know, but they're building the road in the city.
correct.
The county will own the land, correct?
I don't.
The county will own the land,
Yes.
right? It'll be, the
Yeah.
dirt will be conveyed to the county and the city will no longer own it. Am I correct in that
And I
statement?
think the city manager wants to speak.
Sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Castle.
Is county roads, once they're dedicated to the county or county roads, it's a county permitting process. Do they communicate with the communities that they go through? Yes, but do they always do what the communities ask for? Not all the time. So it will be an ongoing process as we go through this, once we start seeing some of the profiles as to what's out there.
Excellent. Do we have any more public comments?
No, we have no additional public comments.
Do we have any comments from anyone in the audience? Any of these fine ladies and gentlemen here today? No? Okay. Let's move on to the consent agenda. This section of the agenda consists of routine or administrative items that require final approval from the city council and may be approved in its entirety by a single motion. There will be no discussion of these items unless a council member requests such, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered on a future agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Martinez, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call. Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next, we have before us a proclamation for Heart Health Month, sponsored by Councilwoman Leonard, which I am also proud to say the entire city went red for Friday, and we literally, well, not literally, but we didn't paint the town red, but we lit the town red to raise awareness for Heart Health Month. Declaring February 2024 American Heart Health Month. Whereas cardiovascular disease affects men, women, and children of every age and race in the United States. From 2019 to 2020, deaths from heart disease increased by 4.8%, the largest increase in heart disease deaths since 2012. And stroke deaths increased in the same period by 6%. Cardiovascular disease continues to be the leading cause of death in the U.S. And whereas between 2018 and 2019, cardiovascular disease accounted for 407 billion
Yeah.
in healthcare expenditures and lost productivity.
Council, the lodge is having some issues with the sound system. They're trying to fix it. You just need to speak up louder for now till they get the sound scored away.
No problem with that. Healthcare expenditures and lost productivity, and if not addressed, will account for 1.1 trillion in healthcare expenditures and lost productivity annually by 2035. And whereas individuals in the U.S. have made great progress in reducing the death rate for cardiovascular disease, but this progress has been more modest with respect to death rate for cardiovascular disease in women and minorities. And whereas cardiovascular diseases are the #1 killer of women in the U.S., killing more women than all forms of cancer combined, and cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of maternal death in the U.S., or more simply put, heart disease is the #1 killer of new moms. And whereas for most women, life is measured by ages, stages, and seasons, from adolescence to adulthood, into the workforce for some, motherhood for others, and for many women, both as the milestones of women's life changes, so do her unique risks for developing cardiovascular disease. Now, therefore, on behalf of the City Council and the people of the City of Westlake, I, John Paul O'Connor, Mayor of the City of Westlake, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby officially proclaim and recognize February 2024 American Heart Month. Be it further proclaimed by the City of Westlake that this proclamation is duly sealed, ribboned, and approved by the members of this council. The foregoing proclamation was sponsored by Councilwoman Charlotte Leonard, and upon unanimous consent of the council, the mayor declared the proclamation duly enacted. And that's right now. Needs a mic. Next, we have a proclamation declaring February Black History Month. Declaring February 2024 Black History Month. Whereas in 1976, Black History Month was formally adopted to honor and affirm the importance of Black history throughout our American experience, which dates thousands of years and includes some of the greatest, most advanced and innovative societies that we can all draw inspiration from. And whereas since 1976, every American president has designated February as Black History Month and endorsed a specific theme. And whereas the theme for Black History Month 2024 focuses on African Americans, and whereas because of their determination, hard work, and perseverance, African Americans have made valuable and lasting contributions to our county and our state, achieving exceptional success in all aspects of society, including business, education, politics, science, athletics, and the arts. And whereas this observance presents a special opportunity to become more knowledgeable about Black heritage and to honor the many Black leaders who have played a part in progress of our community. Now, therefore, on behalf of the city council and the people of the city of Westlake, I, John Paul O'Connor, mayor of the city of Westlake, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby officially proclaim and recognize February 2024 as Black History Month. Be it further proclaimed by the city of Westlake that this proclamation is duly sealed, ribboned, and approved by the members of this council. The foregoing proclamation was sponsored by Vice Mayor Greg Langowski, and upon unanimous consent of the council, the mayor declared the proclamation duly enacted. Get me used to not using the microphone. New business. We have before us Resolution 2024-03, appointing 5 members and 1 alternate member to serve on the Education Advisory Board. City Attorney, please read by title.
Sir, I'd like to defer that until you make the actual appointments. You could consider that by motion with the names accepted by motion. Then I'll introduce the resolution for your consideration.
Fair enough, Counselor. There are 3 applications that were received. How would the council like to move forward? Do we have any comments from the council? Mr. Langowski, I know this is your baby.
I do not have any comments. I've read through everybody's bios and I move to approve the slate.
Could you introduce the names for the record?
Sure.
please?
Lisa Barron, Anita Kaplan, who's actually present here tonight, and Crystal Bexima. Is anybody else here? Okay, I know Anita's here.
I have a question.
Sure.
Has it been seconded?
Lisa Barron is here on video.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. I'll second that, but I have a question.
Sure.
Just looking for clarification. Is it that the 5 members of the original board, 3 of them who might be appointed tonight, serve 2-year terms?
1 year.
Hold on. Counselor, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have a motion and a second. Don't we have to vote?
No, sir, you can have discussion.
Fantastic.
Okay, because the summary in our staff report indicates that the 5 regular members to serve a 2-year term and the alternate to serve a 1-year term.
That's not what the ordinance provides for, council member. And I was going to bring this to your attention. The term is expressly stated in the ordinance is adopted for a 1-year term. So respectfully, there's also a provision that provides for each year, the city council will make the appointment in April. So I was going to respectfully request that when you make the appointment, given that it's February, that the members appointed to the board this evening serve until next April for clarification and sequence.
So just to be completely clear, I think I'd like to ask for another motion that states just that.
Well, do you have any other individuals? Because your board should consist of 5 members with 1 alternate, but you're only appointing 3. Is there any opportunity to appoint 2?
Which will remain on the website as open.
I mean, not going to.
Okay.
Interested in serving.
Okay, so tonight, it would be those 3 individuals that are on the table for appointment.
Would that entitle those 3 sitting as the board to be a quorum?
Yes, sir. 3 would be a
Therefore,
quorum. Yes, sir.
Majority of these 2 spaces vacated for those who are interested in serving.
Right, plus the ordinance specifies that the council liaison would be there to make a form if needed.
No, sir, a liaison will not be part of the quorum.
I thought the ordinance.
No, because the liaison will not be a voting member.
No, I understood it, not a voting member.
Well, they would have to be a voting member to be a quorum.
You want to look at the ordinance?
Pull up the ordinance just.
I've got it. Does say be a member, but I would suggest that not be the case. But because you're going, the ordinance does provide for that, but that was anticipating 5 members.
City Attorney, under liaison, Section 3, number 2, it says the council member to serve as liaison shall not have a voting power.
But may be counted on in determine if a quorum, it's very unusual.
Yeah,
Kind of like the vice president coming down
Yeah.
to take a vote on the
well, he's,
Senate floor.
Well, you could arguably have 2 members voting
right.
on your board, but it's advisory in nature, so everything's going to come to the council.
I just want it to be as simple and clear and concise as possible. So if we need to strike some language now, let's go ahead and do that.
Well, the ordinance is not before you for consideration, so
Just
we
Just
we
the
can come
names.
back.
members are before us.
Yes, sir.
So let's
Take a vote.
take a vote on the members and then let's go ahead and bring the ordinance back in front of us with some clearer language.
We could, it's not, we need to do it at the next meeting.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, sir. Okay.
That's what I'm saying for the next meeting. Let's make sure we get it cleared up so
You don't muddy the waters.
Mhm.
But in the meantime, we can vote on our members
We
and
need to make a
we can size on the website that we're short some members of the advisory board.
Yeah, that's the motion, right?
Yep. And it's currently open on the website as of now.
So,
So just one more. I did have the opportunity to speak to all 3 of the applicants, and I think they're all very well qualified. I just have one question or matter of clarification. If a member is a business person and they're on the board, does that create any potential for conflict of interest?
It has to be determined on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
But an occupation should not preclude them from sitting on the board.
Fair enough.
I think naturally the member should have a background in education.
Absolutely.
At this point, considering we're down members, I think anybody who has a passion for education should be considered, you know?
I'm good with that.
Because we can't fill the seats we have, or the alternates for that matter.
Right.
But,
Or the school liaison.
Yeah.
so do we have a motion?
We do have.
We have a motion second.
so let's go ahead and vote.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilman Werner. Roll call, Councilman Werner.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Langowski,
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard,
yes.
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Resolution by title only, a resolution of City Council, City of Westlake, appointing 3 members to serve on the Educational Advisory Board, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
I need a
Additional motion.
Oh, to amend the ordinance?
No, to adopt the resolution confirming the appointments.
I'll move the adoption of the resolution for appointment of the 3 applicants to the
Second.
board.
We have a motion by Councilman Werner, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call, Vice Mayor Langowski,
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor,
yes.
Councilwoman Leonard,
Yes.
Councilman Martinez,
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Excellent. Now I will kindly ask that we bring that ordinance forward for the next. agenda.
Yes, sir, it'd be my pleasure.
And we can clean up the language.
Excellent, thank you. Let's move forward with, city council comments. Councilwoman Leonard,
Mr. Mayor, I have no comments. Thank you.
Councilman Martinez,
Uh,
tell us about your 5K.
Yeah, Westlake has organized their first 5K, finally come to fruition. It's going to be on March 16th here in Westlake, running right through the heart of the city. And I actually wanted to ask council where we need to come to a vote on any money that we might raise during the 5K, of where we would want it to go. My thought is I would like for any funds that we might raise to go to Golden Groves Elementary, one of the schools in Westlake, and help support anything that they might need.
I absolutely love the idea. I would add money that we raise in excess of what it costs to,
That's what I mean, yes, anything raised above the cost of the
I
5K.
wouldn't want the event to be a tax burden.
No,
Residents.
absolutely not.
In excess of what we raise.
Yes,
What we pay.
Let's give it to the school.
exactly.
I don't think they'll say no to it.
Okay, do we need to vote on that?
Respectfully, I'd like you to consider it in April after the race. And when you have surplus funds
Okay.
and you can have official action, you can agenda item and you can bring it up at that point for a vote.
Are we allowed to advertise it? Is that what we might?
Capitalize might.
Okay, well, that's why I brought it up today, because if we want to advertise what we might
I
donate to.
respectfully, I wouldn't put your council in a position where you're going to exercise your own discretion. You may have other people step forward. It may be your intention to do so, but until you have an agenda item before you.
Just because I'm not, this is your event and we don't get to talk to each other outside of here, I'm not really familiar with the inner workings. Budget-wise, are we ahead of the game right now?
Yeah, we're looking good.
Taking in more than we've spent?
We have the cost of it and we have donations here right now. And we still have more donations we can receive in.
So we haven't
So-
actually exceeded the amount that we've spent on the event?
Not yet, correct?
Okay, so in that case, I would agree. Let's wait until we actually have a surplus.
Mhm.
It's not gonna give it to whoever.
Okay,
School? Is that a Title I school? Do we know or?
I'm not sure.
Should know, I'm embarrassed.
We do have
Maybe
three
we can
schools
find that out.
in the city.
Correct.
Why would one school get the benefit?
Okay, so if we're gonna look ahead, ideally, I would like to do the 5K every year, and every year we split into a different school.
I think it's good to talk about it when it comes up, because there might be enough to split it 3 ways the first time around and each time. But we can discuss that later.
We could?
I like the idea of giving it to education
Mhm.
in one way or another. I think that's fantastic. And it might be the only event we've ever had that we've made more than we take in.
That's the plan.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Usually we break very, very even
Mhm.
or I gotta, no. Excellent idea. I'm all for it. Anybody opposed to giving back if we take in surplus? No?
It'll come up
Great.
later on.
Great idea.
Besides that, that's all I have.
Where do we sign up to run?
On the Westlake website, we have a link to it. You can sign up. I'll see you there.
Can you walk?
You can absolutely walk it. Walk it, bring the kids, put them in a stroller.
Councilman Werner.
I wanted to thank the city for sending me to Tallahassee back last month. I attended the Palm Beach Days event. It was a full-day event at the state capitol. I had the pleasure of meeting Senator Harrell and Representative Roth. And in both cases, I met with them individually, brought up the city's proposed community park and the need for funding. I did update the city manager with what I was, the advice that I was given. And that is something that both the senator and the representative indicated that they would be happy to help out where appropriate. They would suggest that we submit an application no later than November, but certainly within the month or two prior to November to seek appropriations from the state. And they both also suggested that we break it up into a multi-year effort because we're talking a pretty large
Sure.
sum of money there. And thank you to the city for that. Also, I did communicate with the city manager. I received several complaints. There was a bicycle vehicle incident at the town center and Cressman Place. And prior to that, I've also heard complaints about exiting the community, the Cressman community, trying to fight the traffic along town center, suggesting that there be a 4-way stop. And I did ask the city manager to look into that. No.
Vice Mayor.
I wanted to say thank you to Ms. Lucia Torres for always publicizing our stuff on Westlake Wanderer and for helping to publicize for the Education Board. Please keep doing as hopefully by April, we'll have all our seats filled. For next month, I would like to propose 3 proclamations. One we've done the last 2 years. It's in partnership with the Palm Beach Transportation Planning Agency in declaring March as Florida Bicycle Month.
Opposition?
Yes.
Okay,
You know I'm in.
okay. Next one would be Women's History Month. And then the third one,
Read it with no microphone.
if you want to. And then the third one's in partnership with the South Florida Water Management District. It's for Water Conservation Month.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Okay. And then last week I traveled with the Florida League of Cities and Palm Beach County League of Cities. We visited actually every single member of the delegation. So it was a day full of meetings back to back that we're able to talk about a lot of legislation that's coming up that's affecting municipalities throughout the state and some that may affect us in the future as a small city. And that's it.
Thank you so much. I'll be brief. One proposed proclamation for next month, Digital Vibes, Let's Move. Encourages everybody to get out there and move and exercise. It'll be the first year, I believe, that we've done so, but they're an incredible organization, and I'd very much like to read that proclamation. Any opposition to that for next month?
No.
Okay, and then I want to advertise our spring event. Got our spring event, which is slated for the Saturday before Easter, correct?
That's correct.
And it's going to be very fun time. We want everybody to attend. So let's get these spring events. Staff has been working very, very hard. And I know we have a new events coordinator who's getting their feet wet with planning their first event. So it's going to be fantastic. Not to mention our usual volunteers are as always. Let's move on to staff reports. We have PSO in the building. We do. Tell us how safe our city is, please. Should. We would welcome you with open arms.
Actually,
Tower, the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. While they're pulling up, here it is. On the screen there, we have Captain Banner here with the Sheriff's Office. Before we move forward with the annual, I just wanted to briefly mention your stats for January. We had a total of 2,000 calls. Those, a lot of them were proactive on the part of the deputies with business and residential checks, 50 traffic stops, and a significant number of verbal warnings and citations issued. In the crime world, relatively quiet, which is reassuring. 3 burglaries, 2 construction areas, 1 residential burglary, and 2 thefts. But again, consistent with all the other months, the construction sites are the areas that maybe burglaries are taking place.
I'm going to stop you. Any info on that residential burglary? I'm not used to hearing that. So
It was, but it was very pointed. It had some, they entered the back porch and took a fire stick off of the television. So that was.
okay. Right. So somebody grabbed a fire stick out of a patio TV.
Patio TV.
Interesting. Okay, thank you for elaborating. I want to see the alarm. Interesting. Okay.
This is the organizational chart for Westlake. We have 1 deputy on duty on every shift. We do have 2 relief deputies. On the schedule, there will be 2 deputies within the city limit. Annual numbers, as you can see on the screen from 2022, we only had 3 areas that rose, which of course is the burglary constructions. Thefts, which is your larcenies, have gone up slightly, and also vandalism. We'll talk about that a little bit more as we move forward. This is your call for services. As you can see, the calls for services have gone up 8% from 1,907 to 2,600 in 2003.
So they've increased by 2%. So yeah, they went from 6 to 8. Is that consistent with a growing city, or is that still pretty minimal for a growing city? Okay.
As fast as you guys are growing, that's pretty minimal.
Okay, that's what I want to hear.
Person crimes, we had 0 this year. So that includes homicides, robberies, sexual assaults, shootings, and stabbings. So in 2023, there were no reports of these.
That's done to a physical human versus a fire stick from a patio TV.
Correct.
So we've had no,
Actually, somebody, a person who was victimized. There's homicide, robbery, sexual assault, shooting, or stabbing.
in all of 2022,
In all of
2023,
Correct.
wasn't there an assault? Kids got into a fight or something, but it's a 7-Eleven. It
Might have
was.
been in 2022.
It was
I think that was in 2022.
No.
It was 2020.
I think it was 2022.
Manager, city manager.
Oh, it was 22.
not shown on.
It was probably at the end of 22. Okay, just checking. All right, great. Yay, Westlake. I love it. Okay. I love it. Excellent.
Property crimes, as we mentioned, pretty much every month, this area of rise is in the construction area. And the vast majority of those cases were actually cases that it appears as though it were slave employees that just were taking evidence from the houses that were under construction.
Right, that's always been our issue.
Yes.
So now, we were 0 residential in 2023. In 2024, we'll have at least 1 fire stick, right?
Fire stick.
So fire, okay. Okay, I'm keeping an eye on it. Let's nip that in the bud.
0 reduce the burglaries, which is fantastic. Construction burglaries went up by 5 cases, 0 residential and 4 vehicle. Of those 4 vehicles, 3 of them were unsecured.
That's, almost every one of these stats have gone down from 22 to 23. Everything but construction has gone down.
These maps have not been updated in our system, so please forgive them. They're not the greatest quality in the world, but it just shows you the areas where these burglaries have been taking place, compared to 2022. Stolen vehicles, there were 0 stolen vehicles reported in the city of Westlake in 2023, and we did not recover any stolen vehicles that were basically dumped or hitting your city limits.
Seeing these numbers go down.
Thefts and vandalism, this again, the thefts, they did go up from 8 to 15, and a lot of this that's from construction sites. There's product that were, there materials that were left out or what have you. The vast majority are from your construction areas. The vandalism, again, the numbers went up a little. The majority of those were also from your construction sites that people were going in and vandalizing the houses that were actually being built. So I believe the orchards had like 3 of them out of those 12. So we're under construction. This just shows you the areas again that they're taking place in the hotspots from 2022. Accidents, of course, we all know that traffic out here is a growing concern. Our traffic crashes unfortunately have gone up from 74 to 85 in 2023, and then it runs to go down by 1. But nonetheless, we do recognize this as a concern, and we do have some shifts that we're looking for California in the future.
It's
Go back. This will show you the areas that are shown in red. Those are the very high, hot areas where most of the majority of the traffic accidents occur. And then, of course, your yellow ones are the miscellaneous traffic accidents that occur.
it's the intersection you brought up.
Do you want to go back?
No, it's okay.
Sure. Oh, sure, of course. Let me know when you're ready. Traffic stops, citations, and warnings. As you can see, our deputies have been proactive. The numbers have increased drastically since 2022, along with the traffic citations and verbal and or written warnings that have gone out. Again, this is one of your primary areas of concern under. It shows you, again, maybe hot spots where all the traffic stops have occurred in 2023.
On verbal warnings, how do you distinguish between someone who's gotten a verbal warning and, well, now you're gonna get a citation? Yeah, do you keep a record of?
Are the verbals tracked? So that the next time they don't get another verbal, they get an actual ticket? I think that's the question.
Yeah,
It depends on whether or not the deputy did it's while they fill interview with it. If they did a report, then yes, it is tracked. If they didn't, if it was just somebody that did something, just believe that they stopped them and said, hey, you can't do this. Generally, it depends on what the infraction was. If it was a true crime or something, they would just drifted a little bit too far over the crosswalk or something of that nature. So, but no, typically it's just a light warning.
so when it's tracked, does it carry over from one year to the next?
It's tracked, it's carried within it.
More than that 1 year? So the next time they get stopped? Okay, okay, good to know.
I'm not sure if you're gonna mention it or not, but I will. And I'm gonna plug in a shout out to your Citizens on Patrol unit that you have out here. It's my understanding that they just got a second vehicle,
Yes, they did.
which I think is great. And hopefully they'll do some construction site monitoring and maybe we can get that number down as well. But I think it's a great program. And I think besides thanking you guys for everything that you do, obviously what you're doing is working. I thank those volunteers for helping us out. It's great. I mean, I have two vehicles out here. It's fantastic.
Question from you.
Chubby is down further south. So how many?
Not in the city, so it's not gonna be.
Yeah, that was.
That's outside of the city limits. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't that a whole different district?
No, well, it's not considered.
Our district, right?
It's your bordering district. And those are all, Central Pratt and Okeechobee and Southern, those are all very high areas of concern with traffic. There's unfortunately a lot of. Yes, Lockhatch Road has business starting on the middle of that stretch. Unfortunately, we recognize it, and we do as much enforcement as we possibly can, but it sure. Traffic is definitely a problem. This just goes over, I'm not going to get into great detail, but if anybody has a question, please let me know. These are just the arrests that we made for, it's our physical arrests and what's called our notice to appear, which is also
Is that for this year?
This is for 2020.
So how could we have 0-person crime on that other number? Domestic assault is not considered a crime on a person? I don't understand.
It's not, because the titles that were captured under are your stabbings, your homicides, they're different. So if we're talking about crime in person, we're talking about homicide, robbery, sexual assault, shooting, and stabbing. If it's a battery where, husband.
That's under domestic assault. Okay, so we did have some of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. It's just not a person crime for our statistics are very significant.
And in a city of roughly, say, 5,000-ish,
ordinance. Is that a pretty good stat? Okay.
We have 7 an hour in some of it. So it's
Okay.
definitely. Um, Assaults, again, that could be, somebody in assault, it's tense, there's an assault and then there's battery. Assault could be, we threaten you, and shoot you. That means because of a gun on you, that could be considered assault. For battery, it's actually unwanted touching, so physical.
And I mean, I'm not sure if you can speak to it or not, but do we know the outcomes of some of these? Were there arrests made?
Yeah, these
Are the bad guys in jail?
These are the arrests right here. This is outlining the arrests. We had an arrest for spotting
Okay.
as well. Vehicle burglaries, they did make 8 arrests out of the. It's interesting. I can't remember who back that up, but I have. Out of the 18 burglaries, they did make 8 arrests. 1 arrest for shopping, 1 for theft, investment, was 1.
What's NTA stand for?
Notice.
Notice to appear.
Don't physically get them to jail. We give them a court date to go see the judge, which is the same thing as the arrest. Felonies, misdemeanors, warrant arrest, drunk driving, domestic stops, and investigative stuff. So these are just additional arrests that they made throughout the year. You go back to it, but these are just a couple of events that we participated in. That you guys have last
You
year.
guys always help us out. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, can we get Christmas with you? One second, we don't do this, we do that, we do that.
Well, and we had your explorers out here helping out with parking. They're fantastic. They're really great. I want kids, but I just for kids.
They are.
Young adults, youth. Yes. If you could come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Five nine and one, the volunteer surveillance, can you give us a little bit of information on that and what authorities they're gonna have? Volunteer,
The system's on control. I'll take it and you can correct me if I'm wrong. It's my understanding that their directive is strictly to observe and report. They have no ticketing ability or citation writing ability or arresting ability. They're strictly there to observe and report.
got it right on the nose. So they're a second set of eyes to get law enforcement there faster. But they don't have any law enforcement. And this happens in a lot of different communities. Yes, ma'am, they haven't heard. They're growing. Question?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Got fire here. How are you? Excellent. Thank you, sir. Oh, wonderful. And congrats on the motion.
Thank you. Okay, obviously you guys have seen this is for the month of January, so we just do it a month back. So the first one is our dispatch time begins from the time the call comes in, till the time it dispatches to get the argument to reach its ground. So there's just average time, 48 seconds from the first initial received call. Our dispatcher got the call, 48 seconds. The travel time is roughly 5 minutes and 28 seconds. And the total response time to call to end is 7 minutes.
So, sorry to interrupt. Do we have this that we can put on the screen for everybody at home to see or no? No problem.
Yeah, I apologize. Chief.
That's right. No worries.
Also, the call types that we run is another situation that we were dispatched to. Medical calls was 25. in January. That was the majority that held 52% of the calls. The alarms that we run, which could be a fire alarm, CO alarm, any type of situation like that. That's related to a fire, could be a water alarm, anything of that nature. That was a total of 15. Vehicle accidents, we're in a total of 4 in the city. Interfacility transports, which come from the freestanding, which they do not have admitting capabilities. So we transfer them out of this facility, some hospital that can admit patients in.
Okay.
So that's what that means. We had a total of 2 of those. Assist investigations, could be anything, could be a bunch of cytoscopes.
Sure.
Investigate anything, if there's someone here, something smells something, investigate, we get. Hazardous situation, in this case, I know what it was, we had one within the community which happened to be a resident. It was mitigated quick and.
There was the same hazardous situation the month prior, and I had asked, we didn't know what it was. I had asked for further clarification. It was exactly that. It was a gas leak.
Majority of the time, that's what this is. I believe underneath was natural gas.
Yep.
So you'll see that.
Yeah, the report made it sound like it was some kind of toxic spill.
Yeah.
So I asked for further clarification. It was a residential gas leak that you guys came out and fixed, by the way.
He calls within the city. Goes with that.
Just one, I'll ask a quick question before I hand it over to Councilman Werner. Based on your experience, I gotta ask, these response times, are they great? Are they good? Can they get better?
There's always room for improvement.
Okay.
It just depends on what units come in.
Right.
So they average everything. And so say if station 22 is on a call and they need to bring unit to station 26 or 21 or something like that. So there's varying factors that go in. I don't have the actual breakdown. Chief Romero would probably give you something of that nature. You know what I mean? You got
So you'd say they're good, but or they're great, but there's room for improvement? Or they're good, but there's room for
There's
improvement?
always room for improvement. That's about the norm.
Okay.
With kind of window of what we're. Our calls come in, our initial call goes to the sheriff's office. They field the call, they send it to our dispatch center. Our dispatch center takes the material, puts together a call type, sends it out to the units, then the units have. So we go, it's 30 seconds within the day, and it's 2 minutes on average to get to the truck and we don't crack. But that's very bad. So there's a little bit of a process.
Of course.
So that time isn't bad.
Yeah.
But obviously there's always stepping.
Excellent. Mr. Werner?
Yeah, on the natural gas leak, you commented that we maybe get more of it, we should get ready to get more of those. I'm just curious, is that a gas leak that maybe a homeowner may have fooled around with their gas line and didn't close it up properly? Or is it just from the construction of the new home? that They noticed a smell and the gas leak and they called you?
Generally, it's from construction. Yard work, somebody digging in the yard and the lines that feed the house from the sidewalk tends to get cut. Somehow or another, we, whatever the case, they didn't line. That's the majority of problems that we have. And or construction. 90-some % of the time, that's generally. So it's good. I think the community has correct check valves in the street. So if you do have it, check valve stop the leak, but we can get there and mitigate it when we have stuff we get there. But since it happened, we all have response. So there's better fail safes nowadays than it was back.
Is the natural gas here odorless or is there a? Is there, okay,
So we smell.
right,
So we
okay.
go. And natural gas is more, it's more of a safer gas because it will flow. It will dissipate and stay low, which creates.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Any other questions for the time, chief? Just want to thank you and all your guys for everything they do.
I appreciate it.
You guys have always been supportive of us. And
Thank you.
City Attorney, updates, comments?
No comments this evening, Mayor. Always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, sir. Mr. City Manager, updates, comments?
Just a couple. I know this month was a little light, but next month you'll have some more stuff to consider. There'll be a number of items coming in for site plans and site plan modifications next month.
Off of the top of your head, you know ballpark how many residential COs we did this last month?
42.
2 blue ribbons on doors, people moving into their homes?
Correct. And we've been averaging between 40 and 45 for the last 4.5 years or so.
So we're not slowing down.
So we're not slowing down now.
Thank you, sir.
Can you give us an update on the event coordinator position?
We have some issues going on with that position right now. We're working on it internally.
Asking that question because I didn't know about that.
Just occurred.
No.
That's all I have.
Thank you, City Manager. Let's reopen for public comments and requests. This section of the agenda allows for comments from the public to speak. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes to comment. A public comment card should have been completed and returned to the city clerk. When you are called to speak, please go to the podium and prior to addressing the council, state your name and address for the record. Do we have any public comments, Madam Clerk?
I have no comment cards, Mayor.
Ms. Kaplan, please state your name and address for the record.
Anita Kaplan, 5459 Santa Rosa Lane. First of all, I wanted to thank you for your support, and if they do need to be education advisory.
Thank you for your service.
But I am concerned about the number of applicants that we have, particularly since, we got a lot of feedback from people that they really didn't want this to be abandoned.
Agreed.
So I'm asking, I guess, people, what can we do to increase that? I think there are a lot of people that don't know about the process, don't hear about the availability of these positions because either they're not familiar with government, or they don't think or know how to go online and do it. Now, I know this is probably not possible right away, but this is interesting. Today I happen to be going to Costco and I noticed there's a digital sign where Royal Palm Beach Boulevard crosses Southern. And maybe I was hallucinating, but I thought I saw something that said education, and then I could only catch AD. And I thought, wow, what a great way to get the word out. And I think I do remember something earlier on where they were looking for another councilman. But I think we kind of have to tap people,
I couldn't agree with you more. I think, I've got a couple ideas. If Ms. Torres, you can pop it out there on your platform.
Yeah. I'm taking a lot of. Oh, very first time.
Gotcha. Maybe somehow we can collaborate with the individual, like with the Master Association, and they can possibly put out a blast because they've got all the residents. Maybe they can do an actual email saying the city is looking for advisory members.
What about the town crier?
I'll look into that. The town crier is usually on the line listening, so if they are, we're looking for advisory members. Again, they have to live in the city of Westlake, but that goes out to everybody. But I think you're right. We need to do a better job of getting the word out there because people don't check the website. And our social media doesn't have a large reach, the city's social media.
I didn't hear, but I wanted to. I didn't hear. What did you mean? I didn't
Yeah, we need to find a better way of getting the word out.
Yeah, I mean, there were some people that expressed interest, but.
I'm gonna reach out to the Master Association and see what they'd be willing to put a blast out. At least, people have to pay their dues. If it's in the same email as that, they might get some attention. Or even just a link directing it to the city's link asking for members. And I really hope we do get some community involvement. We need it. Appreciate it. Well, thank you for your commitment to serve.
Thank you.
And we really appreciate it. More public comments? Ms. Torres? You know the drill?
2 years ago, I sent out I sent out a little promotional video about the city of Westlake, which is a few minutes long. I thought it was from them, and then I thought they were gonna get hired and keep from me.
We had them prior to the 4th of July, first one, we had the firm hired. We did not continue with that contract, partially for expenses purposes. But we can look into it again.
I don't know what with me. The city here, I'm driving through the city. And, I know Mayor, you have done a ton of work over many, many years. City manager. Zoe Burgess, like the unsung hero.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We need a month proclamation for her.
No, you don't.
And I forget. They're the ones that are causing. I also have to say, all of this stuff is being built up brand new, and I know that there is traffic, and I know that there's construction, but I just feel like things are moving kind of smoothly at a nice shape. So thank you, all of you guys, for all of the work you're doing. I'm looking forward to your guys' events to the live and Spring Fest.
Thank you. Ms.
Thank you.
Gray.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your comments and your positivity. I like to say it all the time. You certainly know when you're in Westlake, you're driving through, you know when you've entered Westlake. I say the sky opens up and the rays of sun come down and you know you're here. And everybody who comes here who's never been here before seems to think the same. So I agree with you and thank you so much for your comments. Any other comments before I adjourn?
Oh, one question?
Please.
The Education Advisory Board that we just appointed, do they have a specified meeting time? Or is that something that the three of them would have to
So
initiate?
Vice Mayor Langowski question.
It's right now set to be quarterly. I mean, once the actual council meets, the advisory board meets, they'll set their time. It could be, we'll probably keep it in line with what the city meeting is at 6 p.m. But actually that group actually met at 6:30. So it's up to them to decide what they would like.
There being no further business, I will go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 7:06 p.m.
Good job.
You can keep these.
Thank you all.
Yeah, you can keep them.
You too.
They posted the sheriff when it's posted online.